We are going live, Wayne's World style. Okay, it says I'm live. What's happening, everybody? Now is stream share time. The best time. I need to go here. As per usual, as my usual routine has become on Sundays, I like to stream on Sundays. And I go live and then I share it on Twitter. And then I start chatting with you guys. So I'm mostly talking to people in the future right now who will watch this after the stream is live, because there's probably not too many people in the stream just yet. But hopefully people will pop in here soon. Okay. Yeah, there's someone popping in. I'll be right with you. Someone very loudly drives by my outside window. Cool. All right. Much quicker this time. So what's up? There are people here. Mamia Malvada, yo, what's up? Micah Jones, what is happening? Khalid Turner, howdy. Thunder Elk, no Thunder Elk, you're breaking my heart with that. Not a fan, personally, not a fan. Space Lion Snail, what's happening? Yeah, it's I've really enjoyed kind of these every Sunday streams. It's kind of just been working out for my schedule. I've mentioned previously how for so long, like I was working on Sundays for about a year. And then many months ago, yeah, Khalid, I'm more on your tip than anything else with that one. Not really a big fan of either guy, if I'm being honest, but I definitely prefer one over the other. But anyway, just as far as the stream schedule and stuff, yeah, once I got my Sundays back, man, this just became an awesome time for me to do midday streams. I learned from a good buddy of mine, Clocked It, who's in the UK, and he's also a YouTuber too, that that's like the prime time over in that side of the world. So it's like afternoon here in the States, and I guess this is around like the 8 p.m. dinner time or so over in the UK. So I feel it seems like a really good time to grab like a couple of different locations, for live streams. That was a bunch of people popping in. What's up, Locke? Life is good. Life is fine for me, Hardboiled says, nice camera quality. Thank you. I updated the lighting. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I updated the lighting by buying some professional lights, which really changed the quality of my webcam here big time. I mean, I should say the webcam quality didn't change. It's the same webcam, but like having the nicer lights just improves the quality of video that the webcam is able to pick up. It's crazy. It makes such a big difference. Mamia says, do I believe the 28th Direct rumor? I certainly tend to believe that. I'll get to that stuff in a second. I do want to keep saying hi to everybody. Definitely, we will be talking about the Nintendo Direct, man. This is like the big thing. Is this finally the Nintendo Direct week? I made like 2 videos about it myself. Lots of stuff pointing to that. Lots of people who I think are trustworthy talking about it. Many of whom I know. So that's definitely an interesting thing. I love Space Lion Snail. I don't know why I love that name so much. Marky Mark 121 says 8 o'clock UK. Okay. So there you go. I guess so where I am, Pacific time in the States, it's noon, just after 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So it seems like, yeah, because you say sorry, 8:15. So it seems like 12 noon PST is the same as 8 p.m. in the UK or whatever time zone you're in. So 8 hours difference. Very cool. That's good to know. Hey, Ethan McNeil. Yeah, what's up, John O'Das? Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you being here as always. Yeah, Karen Buckley says, screw politics. We're here to talk games and Star Wars. I agree with you. I am a very politically active person, but I'm not here to talk about that really on the channel. On Twitter, a little bit different. I definitely tend to sometimes get a little passionate about that stuff on Twitter, but not actually on YouTube. I don't want to talk about that stuff. What did I miss here? Yeah, that's more political stuff. Mamia says, I hope more Breath of the Wild stuff on that Direct. I don't know if I'm really predicting any Breath of the Wild 2 stuff in the Direct, if there even is a Direct, which I believe that there is. Malik says, will the Switch ever get a modern Star Wars game besides Lego? That's a really good point, Malik. And, it's probably really dangerous for me to say this, but I kind of sort of do. EA sucks. Like, don't get me wrong. I hate EA as much as the next person. And they're so bad when it comes to Nintendo and the Switch. But I actually feel specifically on the Star Wars front, which by the way, they've mostly sucked with Star Wars too. I think that there's going to be something that they make that will release on the Switch. That's like a newer game. I don't know what that's going to be. I just don't know. And like I said, that's a dangerous thing for me to say because the chances of EA being that smart and cool are low. But I just have this Star Wars feeling about it specifically. So it just depends on, if they keep making Star Wars games that are really pushing, honestly, advanced graphics engines that are more than what the Switch can handle, then that means it's going to be tough. But like, could a game like Jedi Fallen Order probably be made to run on the Switch? I definitely think so. Absolutely. When you look at what like the 2016 Doom looks like on like the consoles, and then the PS4 and Xbox One consoles, and then you compare that to Doom on the Switch, I mean, the Switch is really impressive, that version of Doom. And if I think that we could get the same quality version with the same disparity between them, of like the PS4 and Xbox versions of Jedi Fallen Order and a Switch version of Jedi Fallen Order. And I think the Switch version of Fallen Order could meet the same quality that Doom did, or Wolfenstein, for example. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe. But again, EA sucks, so who even knows, man? Freaking EA. Ugh, now I'm just getting angry because I'm thinking about how bad EA is. Wow, questions are coming in fast and furious. I got more viewers and questions quicker than I'm used to here. So thank you guys for showing up, by the way. Rob, what's up, Juan? I love when people yell my name. Hey, Lunastar, how you doing? Locke says, Metroid 5, please. Oh, wait, let me go back up to Kieran's question because he tagged me. Were you a fan of the Star Wars Clone Wars series on Cartoon Network? Yeah, absolutely. So both Clone Wars series were Cartoon Network shows. Both the original Tartakovsky ones that were animated by the guy who did Samurai Jack, which are amazing. And then, of course, the CG one, those were both back in the glorious George Lucas era. And those were both on Cartoon Network, actually. And I love them both. And I own them both. That was the Star Wars question. Mighty Ryan asked if I've tried out Battletoads yet. What's funny about that is I have tried it out, and I actually was playing it for a little bit earlier this morning. And like that game, I talked about this. I really don't like the graphics and the art style. I'm not a fan of games like that and how they use hand-drawn characters. Same with like the Toe Jam and Earl that we got last year too. It's like the gameplay is decent in both, but I don't like that kind of style. And I only barely like the style that Streets of Rage 4 used as well. But I will say this about Battletoads. The more I've played it, the more fun it is. I'm not going to lie. It's actually kind of fun. I think that they try too hard with the humor, but it still is kind of funny. But I actually think the gameplay is really fun. The biggest problem I have with Battletoads, and I actually almost tweeted this morning as I was playing the game, so it's funny you asked me about this. The biggest problem I have with it is literally the button delay is so bad. I mean, I'm playing on Xbox One with a Game Pass, maybe like on a One X or something, it would be better. And I don't know if it's on Game Pass. Can you play it on PC? You probably can play it on PC, I would think. So I don't know about that version, but the base Xbox One version, the button delay is bad. It's criminal. It is the only other game that's in the league of this as far as how bad the button delay was. The original Switch release of Bloodstained that they've since patched and vastly improved. But that was really hard to play when it first launched, and so is Battletoads, which is unfortunate because the gameplay is actually kind of fun. So anyway, there's my random Battletoads review. It's better than people say, but it's not amazing, and I just don't like the graphics. I wish they went a different style. Locke said, Metroid 5, please. Many years with that cliffhanger. I know. It's coming. I'm telling you, Metroid 5 and or Fusion 2 is coming, but I hope they call it Metroid 5. Okay, lots of questions. Let me scroll down a little bit here. Jedi Outcast remastered. Well, they already brought Jedi Outcast signs Joe. Jedi Outcast already exists, and it's not like remastered, but it's like slightly improved visuals just without anti-aliasing. Vegan Games in the house. What's up, Vegan Games? Kieran says, I'm leaning at being another partner showcase next week. The Nintendo Direct, you mean? Yeah, I'll get to the Nintendo Direct in a minute. I want to keep going through some stuff. Hey, what's up, SU? What's up, Armchair Analysis? Have I ever considered YouTube memberships? I mean, not really. I get people who ask me that every once in a while. For the longest time, it was Patreon, and I still see that every once in a while. Like, hey, you should set up a Patreon, or why don't you, or let me know if you do. And then the past couple of weeks, I've been hearing a lot about memberships, and I think the membership thing is cool on YouTube. I think it's a smart thing, and I know a lot of people are taking advantage of it. I'm not really into doing either a Patreon or memberships because what's the safest way for me to say this? I just don't really the way I do YouTube, the way I approach it, and the way I fit Rule of Two Review into my life, even though it's very consistent, present part of my life, like it's not something that I feel I want to ask people to pay money for any access for. Because that's a tricky thing, right? Like a lot of the full-time YouTubers, and remember, for those of you who don't know, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. Like I have a job, a career that I do quite well with, and I love it, and so I'm good there. So I don't really I don't want to do YouTube full-time. I only ever would if circumstances forced me to do it and build off of what I've already kind of grown. But I'm not really into doing it full-time for me. So I like it as just a side hobby. And that's why it's one of there's like a laundry list of reasons why for me doing a Patreon or membership just doesn't really make sense to me. Um, I just don't feel comfortable asking people to pay to access the content or to just pay me out of their wallets. Now, when I do live streams, I get donations and super chats and stuff, and that's fine. I mean, everyone likes money, so that part is good, and it always helps. It is a donation. That's kind of the one area where it's like I'm totally comfortable just having super chats available. I get to see questions. I can't miss them. I get to give them special attention because you do pay a couple of bucks to do so, and that's amazing. But the other stuff just doesn't really feel comfortable or right to me. But I'm not saying that about other YouTubers. I've never had a problem, and a lot of people do, right? This has been debated for like years and years about people going full time on YouTube, and if you set up a Patreon, you're e-begging and you blah blah blah. That whole thing, and like, I just don't really care about that stuff. I have so many friends that I've gotten to know over the years who are full time YouTubers, and they've got all the donation things and donation links and sponsored links and Patreons and memberships, and they're just doing it. They're just hustling, and that's how they're getting paid. That's what their income is, and I think that's great. I think it's awesome that people can make a living on YouTube. I've never had a problem with it. Just because I don't want to for me, I don't judge anyone else who does it. I mean, there are people who I've seen who maybe aren't doing it the best way. So maybe there's the occasional YouTube who I don't maybe agree with their execution, but I don't have a problem with people who have Patreons and memberships. And so when I think about it for me, to more answer your question, because I'm kind of just rambling about other YouTubers, when I think about me having a membership on, it's like I don't really know. I just don't do YouTube to the volume that I could provide anything to anyone. So one, I don't really just want to ask you guys to open up your wallets on a regular basis just for me to have my channel. And two, I feel like when you do things like a membership and a Patreon, it's expected to like provide things just for those people who are paying you monthly to do what you do. And I think that's fine, but like I don't have the time or even the ability or knowledge to do that stuff. I mean, I wouldn't be able to give anyone who is a member anything special for being a member and for paying for that. Like I just can't. Like I have a career, yes, I'm home all the time because of the quarantine and stuff, but I've got a job that keeps me very busy, 40, 45, 50 hours a week. And I've got a relationship and I have two bands and I have projects now because I just bought this house. So I'm doing stuff and that, building things and fixing things. And it's like, and I do YouTube, in the capacity that you guys already see it. So I just can't imagine doing that stuff. I don't know what I would provide to people. So I kind of rambled I guess I had a lot to say about that. I appreciate the question. I appreciate the interest because anyone who ever asks me, hey, would you ever do Patreon or would you ever do membership? Like what you're implying is that you would be willing to pay me to do those things. and that's really great. That's an amazing that's amazing thing, and so I appreciate that. Um, but that's my 10-minute rant about why Patreon and memberships don't make sense to me. And as we talk about this stuff, Ryan Steffen donates a super chat, a big super chat, $25. Ryan, you mad lad. That is crazy. Thank you so much. I can probably get beyond the money thing now and actually talk to you guys about video games. So Ryan, with his insanely huge donation, says, what is the thing you want most out of Metroid Prime 4 and possible Metroid 5? Really, really good questions on the Metroid front. And I definitely have talked about these things before. Metroid Prime 4, there's actually a lot of things that I want. I don't know what the number one thing that I want out of Metroid Prime 4 is, but I know something that I do want is to be on one planet and not several planets. Like I said, I know I've brought this up on videos and the podcast I did with Super Metal Dave and Joey Ferris a couple weeks ago. Like, it's cool that Metroid Prime 3 gave us multiple planets to go to because of the variety, and it's just interesting to know that you're flying from planet to planet to planet as Samus. That was really cool, and like I liked it in Metroid Prime 3, but I found maybe it was just the execution of it in Prime 3, but I found it a little bit less engaging, and I found it less interesting to be doing that as opposed to in Primes 1 and 2, and really all the 2D Metroids, where you're in one location. You're on one planet in Prime 1, you're on Talon 4. In Prime 2, you're in Planet Aether. And that's great. And you still have a lot of variety because each of those planets has different terrains and different maps and different areas that you go to. And I thought that achieved the same effect as Metroid Prime 3 did by giving us, I think 3 main planets to go through. I mean, Norian doesn't really count, so there's like 3 planets, and there's Norian, and there's the GFS Valhalla ship that you go to, and then Phase at the very end. And like, so those 3 main planets that you hop between, it just didn't, I don't know. It felt like even though we had more planets, it felt like there was less real estate for Samus to walk across. Let me know if you guys agree with that, or Ryan, if you agree with that. So anyway, I would just like it if Metroid Prime 4 gave us one huge planet with tons of maps and tons of variety within the one planet. I also think the story that they could tell would be more interesting if it's Samus who is stuck on one planet as opposed to flying all around the darn galaxy, So that's Prime 4. Prime 5, or listen to me, Metroid 5. I've talked about this several times also. What I really want out of a Metroid 5 is for a story that would, I guess there's 2 things with that one also. One would be a story where Samus explores the origin of the Chozo, which could be in a Prime 4 or a Metroid 5. The other thing would be if they wanted to continue the Fusion and the SAX kind of storyline in a Metroid 5, I think it would be cool if they started to continue to take it down the kind of scary route that they went with Fusion, because I think Fusion is kind of like a 2D Metroid horror game. Like, it's not actually scary, and it's not like there's blood and guts all over the place, but it's a very creepy game. There's like an eerie atmosphere and an eerie vibe to Metroid Fusion that I think is awesome. And I think it'd be cool if they wanted to continue any of that in Metroid 5, if they further went for that tone of creepiness and like darkness and like kind of like a horror sort of vibe. I think it could be really cool. So that's that. Thank you again for the donation, Ryan. That is freaking incredible, dude. $25. Thank you so much. I've missed a lot of questions because I've been doing a lot of talking about other YouTubers and Patreons and stuff. And we definitely need to talk about the Nintendo Direct, but I have a lot of questions to go through. Okay, so that is stuff about the Nintendo Direct here. Chad Pape says, do you think No More Heroes 3 and Bravely Default 2 is coming in 2020? So Bravely Default 2, yeah, I do still think that that game is going to still stick to 2020. No More Heroes 3, my baby, just the game that I am just waiting for. It's my most anticipated game for the rest of the year. Actually, all year, except for Last of Us Part 2 before that came out. Yeah, I'm worried about No More Heroes 3. And if you guys have watched my videos or seen my previous live streams, like I've talked about that, that Suda 51 is kind of making me nervous about No More Heroes 3. It just seems like, I don't know, man. They want to tell us that No More Heroes 3 is releasing this year, but the way these couple of teases have come out from Suda 51 the past couple of months, it seems like the reason they're being so coy with showing us that game and giving us a release date so far into the year is because I feel like the game might have slipped to 2021 and they just haven't yet told us. So, for example, if we do get a Nintendo Direct this coming week, like we all kind of are expecting, I think there's a chance that No More Heroes 3 is going to show up in that Direct. But I also think one of the things they will do is finally give us the date. And I kind of am like 50-50 on it possibly being a 2021 game. Like, I could be wrong. I'm not like dead set on No More Heroes 3 being 2021, but I'm at least 50-50. Like, I honestly don't know what I expect for that game. But boy, do I want that game to come out this year, man. I'm going to schedule, I have like plenty of time, like PTO left at my job, paid time off. I will legitimately, I've been planning on using a week for Cyberpunk, but if No More Heroes 3 is confirmed for this year, I'm going to actually use it for No More Heroes 3 instead. Because Cyberpunk is going to be incredible, but it ain't No More Heroes. It doesn't have Travis Touchdown, even though it does have Keanu Reeves, which is really close. And so I'm going to pick No More Heroes 3 over Cyberpunk every time. But if No More Heroes 3 is 2021, then I will take that work time off for Cyberpunk. So that's that. All members get our emotes to use in the chat. You really don't have to give anything extra. They just want to donate monthly. Is that true, Juan Castillo? I thought that membership stuff, because I know people who've been doing memberships and they're like talking about making content just for members, just like how Patreon is. And I know you could always open up memberships and just set the expectation like, hey, I'm going to open up memberships because people asked me to, but I'm not somebody who has enough time to make content just for members. And maybe if you just put that out there ahead of time, people won't mind. And that's probably true, but I don't know. I appreciate that you guys would like me to do member stuff. I think it's amazing. But at least for now, I'm totally fine saying you guys hold on to your money and I appreciate it, but you keep it for you or you give it to other people who are streamers and YouTubers that you like better than me. And we'll just leave it at that. I just like that you watch. There's always super chats. And so that's fine. But again, it's really cool that you guys are into that. Sergeant Craig says, how do I feel about YouTube? Wait. Oh, he's okay. He's making a statement. How you feel about YouTube is how I feel about doing my podcast. I don't ask people for money because I do it for fun. Yeah, and I think that's great, you know. And again, for anyone who's catching up to the stream now, this is not an indictment or a condemnation on anyone who has Patreons and memberships. I think it's fantastic. I said it already in the stream here. I support anyone who does that stuff the right way. And anyone who's making a living off of YouTube, I think it's great. I think it's awesome that people can do it. In fact, I even probably could do it if I wanted to. I have to think if I just quit my job, right? So I'd have to totally leave my company. If I did that and I started making at least one video a day on Rule of Two Review and maybe more if need be or whatever, and regular live streams like this and opened up a Patreon or memberships, I feel like within the matter of maybe 6 or 7 months, I could probably be making enough money to live just because Rule of Two Review already has a built-in base, you know, and fans and viewership. And I already make a little bit of money off of it anyway. And I'm proud of what I've built it to. So I could do it probably full time and within 6 months to a year, probably be making enough money monthly to live. But it's, you know, just not interesting to me. Just like you say, Sergeant Crack, you just like doing your podcast. And I think that that's great too. It's all about doing what you enjoy. And if you do it, and if you're going to go the money route with Patreons and things, just do it the right way. And I haven't seen very many who I think are doing it the wrong way, but it's, you know, it's happened. We've all seen people who are kind of like, I don't know, kind of sketchy about what you're doing, or those people are out there. But most people, I think we all know who are full-time, they're doing it fine. You know, they're doing it. It's mostly just people who are hustling. You know, they're just working hard and then they're making their living and their income off of their YouTube personality, or like if you stream on Twitch or whatever. So I think it's cool. It's great. Let me scroll to the bottom, man, because there's so many questions. And we also have a lot of viewers, 104, 115. That is amazing. Thank you guys for showing up. All right, let me find some questions. There's just so many. Jono says, I'm going for February 2021 for No More Heroes 3. Yeah, I could see that. Travis Strikes Again was either January or February last year. So maybe they want to do something similar with No More Heroes 3. I could see that. Sergeant Crack says, am I excited for Gotham Knights? I am excited for Gotham Knights, man. That looked awesome. Really, really cool. I said this on Twitter. I think it looks cooler than the Avengers game. So I'm just putting that out there. And I don't think it's supposed to be games as a service. It's like it's a multiplayer thing, but I don't think it's games as a service the way frickin' the Avengers is. So, but don't quote me. I might be wrong on that. How about Bayonetta 3, says Giancarlo. I'm kind of thinking the same with Bayonetta 3. I think Bayonetta 3, I feel like that game has a good chance at also being 2021, you guys. Bravely Default 2, I don't know why, but it just feels like the game that probably will still come out this year. But No More Heroes and Bayonetta, those which are the two that I actually want. So it's hard for me to admit this. I'm not going to play Bravely Default, but Bayonetta and No More Heroes 3, I can't wait for. And I kind of feel like there's a 50% chance those games might be next year. So we shall see. Bradley Sprinkle says, on that note, what is your favorite N64 game of all time? Mine is definitely Banjo-Kazooie, hands down, no question. Well, Banjo-Kazooie is a great one because Banjo-Kazooie is freaking awesome. I played that when it was brand new. Same with Banjo-Tooie. I preferred Banjo-Kazooie, though. I mean, my favorite, it's either, I don't know, it's a cliche answer, but it's either Ocarina of Time or Mario 64. And I kind of think Ocarina of Time is like the better game. But Mario 64, because it was the first and because it introduced the analog stick, and it was just, I mean, the first time I played that game, you guys, oh my God, I cannot explain what my brain felt as I played and saw Mario 64 for the first time in 1996. Again, I'm an old man compared to probably a lot of you guys. So I was a teenager. I was getting ready to get my driver's license, okay, at the time that Mario 64 came out. I'm sure a lot of you guys might not have even been born yet. That's how crazy that is. And so when I played Mario 64 in a Toys R Us, and then we got one at the end of the year for like the holiday time. And it's like when I played it, oh my God, so amazing. Using the analog, getting used to the analog stick was weird, but it was really exciting when you figured it out. So I don't know. I might go with Mario 64, even though I'm a bigger Zelda fan than I am a Mario fan. Tough call. Tough call. Scrolling down a little bit. Sorry, I can't get everyone's questions because there's a trillion of them. What's up, Derek? Good to see you, buddy. He says, are you hyped for Ghost of Tsushima Legends? I just started playing Chapter 2 of the single player, but I feel like Sucker Punch have gone above and beyond what most companies do for a $60 game. I agree, Derek. So I'm assuming it sounds like you're liking Ghost of Tsushima is what I'm gathering there. I think the game is incredible. It might have become, now that I've beaten it, it might have become my favorite game of the year over Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It's definitely like a neck and neck race between those two. Last of Us Part 2 is right behind those at number 3. Because I like Last of Us 2 a whole lot, but man, it also drove me crazy in some ways. So that one's very tricky. Yeah, I'm excited for the multiplayer stuff. I think it's going to be really cool, Derek. So very excited to see what they do. Soryuha says, where are you playing your third-party next-gen games? Man, that's a good question. I try to spread the love. I try to buy third-party games on all 3 platforms. I mean, I've got some on the Switch too. I picked up Wolfenstein on the Switch. I picked up Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch. Some of the smaller tier games like a Dead Cells and stuff, like I did that on the Switch. But obviously, most third-party games, you're usually picking between PC, PlayStation, or Xbox. And I don't really game on my PC. So most of my third-party games currently I've picked up on PS4, but I have done Xbox for a few. Like Doom 2016, I did Xbox. Devil May Cry 5, I did Xbox. Metro Exodus, I did Xbox. And probably a couple. Call of Duty, I usually do on Xbox. Fallout. But most other things I've been doing on PlayStation 4. As far as the next gen, it's a little bit too early for me to say, um, because I think it's going to depend on if. Here's the thing: I'd like to pick up both as they launch, but I don't know if I'm going to do that based on price or games available. If they're both reasonably priced, and if there's at least one game I just feel I have to play on each system, I will buy them both day one. And so then I'll have both as options from the get go. But if they're overpriced, or if they just, one of them doesn't have good games, and honestly, Halo just got delayed, so that really hurts the chances of the Xbox having any good games at launch, then I'll probably start by playing the third-party games just on the console that I have. But when we look a couple of years down the road, when most of us will probably have both a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, a lot of what I'll use to determine where I play my third-party games will probably have to do with just, I guess, the ecosystem of the system, which system I just enjoy playing on the most, which one tends to run games better. I believe the running theory is that the Xbox is a more powerful, more capable machine than the PS5. So there's a chance that third-party games are just going to be better on that. And if that's the case, and I love the Xbox controller, by the way, so that's part of it too. There's a good chance I would go with Xbox over PlayStation if that's the case, even though I'm a bigger PlayStation guy than an Xbox guy. But I'm really like, I don't have my flags in anyone's ground. I'm just like, I just like everybody. Like I have a preference, but I enjoy them all. And I like to spread the love with where I'm playing my games. So I'll constantly be mixing and matching between buying games on the PS5 and buying games on the Xbox Series X, until the next Nintendo console comes out. And then that'll be a whole nother conversation to have. And I think that's around 2022. So yeah, good question though, man. I actually kind of liked thinking that through a little bit. Kai Marager says, are No More Heroes 1 and 2 just ports from different Nintendo consoles being ported to Switch? Well, so there is no confirmation on the old No More Hero games coming to Switch, although there has been a listing and a very strong possibility that at least the first game is coming to the Switch. We don't yet know about number 2, but I would think if 1 is coming, that 2 is probably coming as well. And are they different ports? So what's the question? Are they just ports from different Nintendo consoles? So yeah, they would be. They would be Wii ports from because those are both Nintendo Wii games. So that's what they would be. Jono says Mario 64 as well. Oh my God, I got another super chat. Whoa, Mr. Pete, 1985. Thanks, dude. I appreciate you. Says, I want both, but PS5 more. I think that's the running consensus right now with people, right? I'd be curious from you guys in the chat. Are you more into Xbox Series X or PS5 right now? I think most people are leaning towards PS5. And I think a main reason why, like I already said, was honestly the delay of Halo. Well, the fact that Halo was disappointing to a lot of people already, not to me. I thought Halo Infinite looked awesome. I was completely on board with everything they showed us, that whole gameplay thing. I know people complained about visuals, but I thought it looked great. But now that it's been delayed, I think that even hurts the chances. And Brandon says PS5, Ryan says PS5, Jono says PS5, Micah, Marky Mark, everybody says PS5. Mighty Ryan says Series X day one, but he'll get a PS5 down the line. Danger Noodle says indifferent. Kniffle says going to get both. Soryua says Series X. Jeremiah says PS5. PS5. Kieran Buckley says PS4. Switch 2. Yeah, so, there's a couple of Xbox votes there, which is great. I think the Xbox will be an awesome machine. But most people, at least in this chat, seem to be going PS5. Except for Locke, who's going with a Commodore 64. So good choice, Locke. You appreciate that. Diego says Series X. So here's the thing. This is just a small snippet of people, but that's probably about a 70% people who are saying that they would go with PS5 over Xbox. Just a rough guess. And I feel like that actually reflects most people's buying decision this year. Unless something changes between prices or games available, if things kind of stay, I think, on their current momentum path that they're on now, I just feel like PS5 is going to be a bigger hit this year. Long term, though, Microsoft can still, win that battle if they have the right games and if Halo comes out and if it's good and if people really gravitate towards how much more powerful it is than PS5. But Sony has so many good games. Sony just has better games than Microsoft right now, man. Microsoft has all those studios they bought, and we haven't really seen what those games are going to be, except for Hellblade 2, which is a sequel to a game we already know anyway. But there could be a lot of great new games coming from all those studios over the next couple of years, and that could really sway things in Microsoft's favor as well, too. So I'm excited to see what happens there. Yeah, Artisan says, Ken, a Bridge of Spirits on PS5. Dude, that is a top tier game. I am so excited for that. But I don't think that has a date, and I sure as heck don't think it's going to be launch. So we have to remember that. I think launch-wise, we're expecting Spider-Man Miles Morales, and there's been some recent talk that Demon Souls Remastered might be coming on launch. And if that's the case, forget about it. Forget about it. I am so in PS5 day one. Even if it's more expensive than the Xbox, I will buy it for Demon Souls. Yo, I'm so excited for Demon Souls. Yeah, Jono says the same thing here. So very exciting to think what's going to happen there. But also, I tweeted about this morning. These two consoles, man, I'm so getting kind of pissed about this. Like, why they're not giving us this freaking release date and price information. I'm so sick of the game of chicken that they're playing. Like, just stop it, you guys. Stop being such babies and just put your info out there. Like, we, the consumer, are ready. So just tell us what's going on, man. It's really frustrating. Super, super frustrating. John knows. Oh, yeah. Ratchet and Clank. I don't think that they have a date for Ratchet and Clank. Am I wrong on that? I don't think there was a date. Let me look at something. Oh, there we go. That's that. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just checking one thing. Yeah. Okay. Jeff Meacham says, I'm excited for Demon Souls. Niffle says, Ken is being done. Oh, yeah, by the guys who made the Majora's Mask trailer. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Indeed, it is quite frustrating. Yeah, Metroid Prime. Hey, Metroid Prime in the chat. Yeah, it is really frustrating what they're doing. Very, very. John Carlo says they fear the backlash for the price. That may be the case, John Carlo. You're probably right. But, like, that means you either need to make your pricing more appealing. And if you can't, then what's the point? Like, you just pull the Band-Aid off. If you're going to sell it for $700, then that's what it's going to be. Waiting isn't going to make it any better for anybody. So peel the Band-Aid off and just throw the number out there so everybody knows what you're doing and what the price is. Even if, like you say, it's so high that they know people are going to get upset, you've done that to yourself. Think of Sony is Anakin Skywalker, and we the people are Obi-Wan saying, you have done that yourself. If you think the price is so high, people are going to get mad at you for it, you shouldn't have made a console that's going to cost that much money. You did that, Sony and or Microsoft, based on, we're guessing here. We don't know. But just like, you've done that yourself. So who cares? You've decided to make a $700 PS5, I guess, right? Or an Xbox Series X. Might as well tell us that's what it's going to cost if that's what you're doing. If you're upset about it, you should have done a better job making it and making the prices. Like, they're the ones in charge of that. It's not like we're forcing a $700 price on a PS5. That's Sony doing that. So anyway, you have done that yourself. Don't you think it's kind of worrying that Spider-Man Miles Morales comes out in 2 to 3 months, but we're still yet to see any shred of gameplay besides announcements trailer? Yeah, Solid Python. To tell you the truth, as much as I'm really excited for new consoles from Sony and Microsoft, all of it's worrying, just like you said. Whether you're talking about the Halo stuff, whether you're talking about the lack of prices and release dates, you're talking about the games lineup or Spider-Man here, where it's like, yeah, in theory, that game comes out really soon, but we haven't seen anything from it. And it's just another like notch in this whole situation where it's like, it sucks. Sony and Microsoft are being really stupid and terrible with this whole thing. And it's like, yeah, we don't know the things that we need. We don't know the things that we need to know. And they're just keeping it all a secret because who knows why. honestly, like these guys have not actually like earned anyone's money if you think about it. Sony or Microsoft, I should say. They just haven't. They need to give it up. Facts kills opinions. What's up, my man? Am I ready for a brand new 2D Metroid masterpiece being announced next week? You know, I am ready for that. I've believed in a new Metroid game, 2D probably for a while. You've heard me talk about it for like over a year. I just wonder if 2020 has changed things. So, hey, maybe we get it next week. Maybe we don't. You never know. Diz, what is happening? Good to see you here. Just started playing Manifold Garden. You watched the Indie Direct. What do you think about the puzzle games? Hope to see you and Emily in Seattle soon. Well, we will eventually make it up there when it's safe to do so. Actually, Manifold Garden looked pretty cool. I actually showed that to Emily, so it's funny you bring that up because I like puzzle games. That one didn't appeal to me too much, but when I showed it to her, she actually thought it looked really cool. So I'm curious, Diz, if you're liking it or not. And if it's like, it looks like Labyrinth. What I like about that game is it reminded me of the end of the movie Labyrinth, which is like one of my all-time favorite movies. So I thought that part was cool. Samus Returns Switch port would be great. I agree, Niffle. I completely agree. In fact, I actually think there's a pretty decent chance that Samus Returns does get a port. Oh, what's up, Kazoo? Yes, Emily is my fiance. Yeah. Emily is the fiance. What was I going to say about that? I got totally distracted now. Oh, I guess the Nintendo Direct, we could kind of go into that because we really haven't actually talked about it. Sony has had a great 2020 despite COVID. I agree, Kieran. And that's when I started to change a little bit of my tune on Nintendo this year because first couple months of the year, you guys, if you were following my videos, you heard me say this 120 times that the first couple of months of the year when things were, Nintendo was super quiet, it didn't make a lot of sense, and the pandemic was just starting and we were all starting to realize, oh man, this is a big deal. This is a scary deal. Up through like June, I was like, it sucks Nintendo's being quiet, but I understand why, and so it's okay. But then around the time that Paper Mario was coming out, so I guess about 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, I was like, at this point, I think it's been long enough. And because of Sony having a great year, like you bring up, I was like, if Sony can release The Last of Us 2 and make it the fastest selling PlayStation game of all time, and Final Fantasy came out and broke records, and Resident Evil 3 came out and broke records, and all these other things were happening, I was like, it seems like other companies are able to still do stuff and release stuff and successfully. Like sales aren't really being impacted because of the pandemic. So after like 6 months, I was like, okay, Nintendo, you had some time. Now it's like, I feel like you need to be able to start talking to people a little bit and telling us what's going on. And because of Sony's excellent first half of the year, like you said, and Ghost of Tsushima, hello, that also came out. It's like, yeah, I feel like that makes it less understandable why Nintendo is being so quiet and so slow with stuff. So, what's up, Ford Dog? What's up, Oddles Noodles? Is it Odles Noodles? Oddles Noodles? Christopher Smith. What's up, Chris? What's up, buddy? With the everything going on in the world, video games, movies, TV2 releases getting delayed and sometimes postponed until next year. That being said, what's your perfect Sunday? God damn it, Chris. My perfect Sunday is this right here. Talking to the internet while you jump into my chat with jokes. That's the best. That's my perfect Sunday. That's so funny. I was going to talk about the darn Nintendo Direct, wasn't I? Ooh, Kieran says, what are some of my favorite Metallica songs? I have plenty of answers to that. Love you too, Chris. Appreciate you, man. I miss you. My favorite Metallica song. So I'll tell you my all-time favorite Metallica song. Mamiya asked me my favorite band, which is Metallica. I have 2 Metallica tattoos even. I've seen them 12 times live because I'm a nerd. So my favorite Metallica song is a song called The Struggle Within, which is like one of the deeper cuts. It's the last track on the Black Album. And it's also just like it's one of the few just short, sweet, fast, heavy tunes. It's like 3.5, 4 minutes. Metallica does not have many songs that are under 4 or 5 minutes. And The Struggle Within is that. And I don't know. It's actually it's an entirely unspecial Metallica song, but I freaking love it. Absolutely love The Struggle Within. Also, My Friend of Misery is one of my favorites. The House That Jack Built, Harvester of Sorrow, of course, Blackened, of course, Ride the Lightning, Fight Fire with Fire, of course, Phantom Lord from Kill 'Em All. That's another deep cut. I freaking love Phantom Lord. What else? Oh, Spit Out the Bone from their last album is just mwah. That's a top 10. They made a top 10 all-time song on that last album, man. That is that good. So Andres M says, what's my favorite BT Bam song or album? So I have a good answer for that too. My favorite album, it's everyone's favorite album, is Colors, right? It's their best album for sure. My favorite song from them is on that album, and it's called Ants of the Sky. So I know everyone says White Walls, and White Walls is a masterpiece. I love White Walls. But Ants of the Sky, man, I don't know. It just works for me. I love talking metal. I don't get to talk metal enough in my streams. But I'm supposed to talk about Nintendo Directs. That's my plan. And you guys keep steering me away with these Metallica and BT Bam questions. Favorite Star Wars movies? I mean, I got to answer that, Samuel. Who's my favorite Jedi and Sith? Favorite Nintendo controller? I like these. Maybe I should make my live streams this. Just everybody ask me my favorite something. Favorite Star Wars movies? I'll tell you my top 3. It's Empire Strikes Back, of course. It's Revenge of the Sith. And it's Return of the Jedi. So to me, those are the 3 best Star Wars movies. Number 1, Empire. Number 2, Sith. Number 3, Jedi. When will Nintendo and BT Bam work together to release a new Pokemon? Oh, man, Chris. That's my new favorite Sunday game. Yes, Derek. Kill Switch's newest album is actually great. I totally agree. That's some of the best music they've written since As Daylight Dies. It's a great album. Anyway, okay, let's talk about the Nintendo Direct. Let's focus. Let's get on point here. Yes, I did listen to the new Deftones song, and I liked it, Ryan. I think it's actually very good. Very, very good. Kieran says Nintendo has to start announcing some games for 2021. Only game we know are coming in 2021 is Shin Megami Tensei. Is that right? I feel like there's something else for 2021 that we know about. Metallica for Smash. Yeah, that'd be great. But maybe, that's nothing for Switch. I think you're right. I think that Shin Megami Tensei 5, right, is the only game that we know for Switch in 2021. And so when it comes to that, so if we think about maybe a Nintendo Direct happening this coming week, and then we also think about 2021, this goes back to what I've brought up in a couple of my video topics, right? Which is, if we get a Nintendo Direct this month, like we're expecting, I think this month's Nintendo Direct would be when they will give us information about games that are going to release in 2020. Here, before Christmas, before Black Friday, here's what's happening in 2020, bam. But I also think we're in the perfect window of time for them to also start talking about 2021 games. Probably early 2021 games, right? So like first quarter up through March of next year. And I think that is the window of time, similar to what someone else said here. I think that's the window of time where if they're going to tell us No More Heroes 3 is coming or Bayonetta 3 is coming in 2021, that maybe those games would release in the first quarter. And so maybe in a Nintendo Direct, either next week or sometime in September, because they do September Directs pretty often, maybe that's when they're going to start telling us 2021 stuff in a Nintendo Direct or some kind of thing. If Skyward Sword HD is coming, like, some rumors point to, maybe they would tell us that soon, and that becomes a 2021 release, If the Mario remasters are real, I think that we all probably expect those to release this year. That rumor has been going for far too long. There's too much credibility behind it. It seems like they have to exist, and if they do, it seems pretty obvious they would be 2020 releases. A Skyward Sword port, though, I think that would be a 2021 game, especially with the 35th anniversary of Zelda next year, as we know. And I think it's not crazy to think that maybe they would release like a Skyward Sword HD in the first half of the year, and then Breath of the Wild 2 could be their big holiday game for next year. I mean, that's my prediction for Breath of the Wild 2 is like November next year. That's when I think it's coming. So, Pikmin 4, a game I've believed in for over a year at this point. I still think it's I do still think Pikmin 4 is real, even with the announcement of Pikmin 3 Deluxe. And so I also think that's a game that maybe is Q1 or Q2 of 2021. And that is a game that they could talk about before the year is over in a late 2020 Nintendo Direct. I think that we might see that too in like a September or a November Nintendo Direct and say, oh, 5 months down the road in April or June of 2021, here's Pikmin 4 coming. Excuse me. I think that could be a total possibility too. But obviously, it's all predicated on if this week's Nintendo Direct rumors are true. And another super chat. Steve Sullivan says, will I be on the Spawncast soon? I get that asked to me all the time. I really need to just hit up John and be like, hey man, when's a good time for me to come on? Because I talk about it a lot when people ask me about it. Like, I mean, I've been on the Spawncast like probably 15 or 20 times. John is awesome. I love all those people. They're all great. I have a really good time every time I'm on. It's really funny. It's just like a big goofy time. And we get to talk about cool gaming stuff. And I know all those guys really well, but I'm obviously not a regular. And that's because there's like 10 regulars at this point. It's a very full podcast. And he likes to have rotating guests. And, I'm obviously not the hugest YouTuber. So I don't think he doesn't really reach out to me unless like, if he like has in the past, like he's had a spot to fill. So he's reached out to me. There was one time where there was Star Wars news and he asked me to come on, and there was Metroid news and he asked me to come on. So I don't know. I mean, here's the thing, what I know about John, and he told me this a long time ago. I think he says this to most people who's been on. Like, if you've been on, you pretty much have an open invitation most times to just come on. He's told me that. I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying that. So I could probably, anytime I wanted to hit him up and be like, hey, dude, like, I'd love to come on sometime. What do you think? I know he's going to say, yes, you can come on. But I'm not going to bug him about it. I don't mind waiting until John reaches out to me to come back on. Or if I just feel the absolute desire to come on. So we'll see what happens. I said this last time. I'll say this one more time. Rob, for a regular on the Spawncast. I wouldn't mind being a regular on the Spawncast. I mean, I wouldn't be a regular if he ever wanted me to be a regular. But I would probably be most weekends. There'd be pretty often I wouldn't be able to make it on every Saturday. But I'll say this. I would bet almost $1 million that whenever there is officially Metroid news, you guys, whenever it happens, whenever Nintendo themselves finally says, here's Metroid Prime 4, here's Metroid 5, here's Samus Returns port, whatever they would do, Metroid Prime Trilogy, I guarantee you he's probably going to ask me to be on, which is great. I mean, I would love to come on at that time. So, yeah. Anyway, I love the Spawncast crew. It's a bunch of good guys and girl, because Miss Click is now a part of it as well. Everyone there is really awesome. Bro, would Nintendo be able to adapt those Prime 3 and Skyward Sword motion controls to Switch handheld mode without losing the magic they had in the Wii era? Yeah, that's a really, really good question, honestly. And yeah, I think it's possible. The big conversation about Skyward Sword, ever since we started talking about it coming to another console, is how you do the motion controls. And I discussed it on my Skyward Sword video last week and on last weekend's live stream. I think that there is a way to do it. I think that Nintendo could find ways to make the controls work without motion, which means it could be played in handheld mode, and it could also be played on a Switch Lite, right? Because that's the big tricky thing. Like, the Switch Lite kind of changes stuff. So that's Skyward Sword. Metroid Prime 3, I do feel like you could do that even easier because there's already a template for standard controls with Primes 1 and 2. And because it's a first-person game, it might be less great. So you talk about it losing magic, and maybe the games do lose some magic. But I think you could play Prime 3 with dual analog, just like you probably could with Prime 1 and 2, and like how I think Prime 4 is probably going to control. So yes, I think it's possible. Says impossible to get Metroid news and not have you on the Spawncast and your Metroid geek love brother. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I feel like, you know, he's reached out to me before to be on when there was Metroid news. So Yuba says we need a Sunday Robcast featuring Rax the Great. Yeah, Rax is awesome. He's a really good dude. I love that you keep asking me about it. I probably should bring it up to John just because it's like, hey, people are asking me to be on. So, but man, he's busy. He's busier now than ever. The guests he's getting on are bigger than ever. He's got Brian Altano and Jeff Grubb, and now Alana Pierce, I think, is coming on sometime soon. So he's able to get such big people on there now. And even though we're buddies, me and John and all those people, like, we know each other. I've podcasted with them all so many times. I mean, I'm a smaller tier YouTuber, you know, I know it. So I think that's part of the reason he maybe doesn't reach out to me as much as he used to, and that's okay. But I will be back. I know that it'll happen in some way, shape, or form. What do I want from a new 2D Metroid game? I already kind of talked about that. I would like it to just go more in like the horror route that Fusion started to go down. And I'd like it to explore the origin of the Chozo. And just really kick-ass 2D Metroid gameplay. I mean, come on. We need Fusion on the Switch. Yeah, I agree, Miguel. I mean, Fusion and Zero Mission are on the Wii U. They could put those games on the Switch, you know? And we've already got Metroid and Super Metroid, so that's great. But now let's get the other ones. V-Meister says, do you think Super Mario 64 will be a full-on remaster if the rumored 3D collection? So, honestly, like, I want it to be. I would like for Mario 64, if it's true, to be like extremely remade, very like redone, new textures, new graphics, new lighting. You know, just I want a lot of effort put into it. However, if I had to put money right now on what I think they are doing, my money would be on a fairly standard, just HD polish, similar to what they did with like Twilight Princess, for example. And keep in mind, I loved the Twilight Princess remaster. I thought it was great. It had the benefit of using the gamepad for stuff, and so I loved that as well. It would be less exciting for Mario 64 because that game is that much older. So I think you get less mileage out of doing oh my God, I got 2 super chats at once. Wow, that never happens. Holy smokes. Thank you guys so much. Okay, Reese's Pieces gave $20, which is amazing. Dude, thank you. That is another huge super chat, 2 for the stream. Says, for Skyward Sword, I could easily see, and then Gordon, I'm going to get to your super chat in a minute as well, so don't worry. But Reese's says, for Skyward Sword, I could easily see Nintendo bundling in a sensor bar accessory to make it work, as well as offer them standalone separately. They did the same with the original release in Wii Motion Plus. So it's a good point. I see where you're getting, where you're coming from, Reese's Pieces. But here's the reason why I actually think they might not need to do what you're thinking they need to do. For one, I don't know if they could make a sensor bar for a Switch. I don't know if that's even possible. I guess it probably would be, but I don't know. I don't understand the technology enough. Something tells me that would be hard for them to do. But I actually don't think they need to do that because, again, here's the thing. You bring up the Wii Motion Plus, which was a huge part of Skyward. In fact, it was the only way to play the game is with Wii Motion Plus. You couldn't use a standard Wii remote. And here's the reason why. Because the standard Wii remote used the pointer on the Wii remote and the sensor bar that you're talking about to work. It needed the sensor bar to sense things and move around. But Wii Motion Plus didn't need that. And I don't know, maybe you did or maybe you didn't know this, but you can play a Wii Motion Plus game on your Wii without a sensor bar. So Skyward Sword, because you have to use Wii Motion Plus, you don't even need that sensor bar. It's all based on gyro. That's what the Wii Motion Plus basically was like a really fancy gyro. So you can already play the existing Skyward Sword without a sensor bar, which means if you wanted to make motion controls on the Switch, you don't need the sensor bar for that either, because the same kind of gyro technology in the Wii Motion Plus is this kind of gyro technology that's in the Joy-Cons. So in theory, you can use the Joy-Cons to achieve the identical effect because it's not using a sensor bar to pick up like your pointer. Let me know if that's what you mean and if that fits into kind of what you're thinking there, Reese's. I'm curious. but that's the way I break it down. Does it use the sensor bar, Toastios? I don't know that Skyward Sword did. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that it didn't use the sensor bar, but maybe I'm wrong. Because even like you're pointing, you're moving like the scarab and you're flying it around, and that's all Wii Motion Plus. It's all gyro, I thought. But we'll see. Now, Gordon, are those pounds or euros? I'm so sorry. You gave me $10 of something from the UK. So thank you, Gordon, for that donation. Says, hi, Rob. Thanks for all your work and content. One of my favorite gaming channels. Thank you. You're one of the most eloquent speakers on gaming matters, and you're really welcoming. Hooray. Dude, thank you so much. I thought you had a question. Instead, it's just a really nice compliment and a donation. So that is great. Thanks. It always feels good if you do YouTube and people just like, compliment you. I guess everyone likes to be complimented, right? We don't really know each other, me and all of you guys, but we do also kind of know each other. And I just think it's really cool that I can take advantage of like YouTube and just put myself out here because I have thoughts about gaming and I just love talking. I'm very long-winded, and so it gives me an outlet to just talk about stuff, and you guys really seem to like it, and you like me, and that's just a great thing. So I just couldn't appreciate it enough, Gordon. Thank you so much. So let's see what you guys are saying now. Let's see what you guys are saying. Romulus Caesar says, you have a small channel, and I'm not much of a gamer, but I appreciate your channel. You make my favorite videos and commentary. Spawn Wave, Rule of Two Review, and Arlo. I like to check out Andre's Restart. Yeah, well, thank you so much. I love being included in the company of Spawn Wave and Arlo. Again, I know Spawn Wave. I've been on Spawncast. Arlo, I also love Arlo. Big fan of him. And I will say, you bring up Andre's Restart. Definitely check out Andres' channel. He is killing it right now. He's just one of my favorite smaller YouTubers that I've noticed over the past couple of months. I've done his podcast with him now twice, gotten to know him pretty well. I think his content and his videos are just awesome. And I just, I feel like we have similar video styles. It's not that I think he like copies me or because somebody said that before, and it's like, I don't think that at all. I just think we have similar video styles, which is why I like to watch his videos. And if you like me, if you like Rule of Two Review, I think you would probably also love his channel. So if you haven't watched, I recommend it. In fact, he does this podcast on Sunday nights. So he's going to be podcasting in like 5 hours from now, live streaming. So you should find his channel and you should watch it tonight, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. So I hope they have non-motion control option. I'm disabled and might not be able to play with motion controls. Okay, so there you go. Chronically Cal. Yeah, that's a good point with motion, right? Like if somebody maybe has a disability, like it sounds like you do, it can be hard to be sword fighting like this, right? Like, oh, I got a Joy-Con, I got a Wii Motion Plus, I'm sword fighting, I'm Link. But that can be hard for people to do, which is unfortunate. So it sounds like a standard controller would work way better for you. So hopefully they find a way to make that possible. Risa says, I haven't played Skyward Sword yet. I just assumed it used both. I need to change that ASAP. Yeah. Wizard Ninja says, how would you feel about a Fusion remake? Fusion is my favorite, but I'd rather have Metroid 5. Well, I mean, if I'm going to pick between one or the other, I'm always going to choose the new game. Just like if somebody said, what would you rather have? A remake of Metroid Prime, which is my favorite game of all time, or Metroid Prime 4? It's like, I'm going to choose Metroid Prime 4 because it's the new game. Like, so with Fusion, if I had to pick Metroid 5 or a remake of Fusion, I'm going to pick Metroid 5. But outside of that, just in a bubble, if you said, would you like a remake of Metroid Fusion? Yes, of course, I would like that. I mean, look what they did with Samus Returns, otherwise known as The Return of Samus. Like, I think they killed it. I think that game is so freaking great. And can I open this? Thank you. It's hard to talk and open my little Star Wars thing at the same time. What are you doing? Sorry, guys. Move this around. This was a birthday gift, and it's like kind of starting to annoy me. It's really nice, but it's starting to annoy me. like the cover has become harder to open over time. I've only had it for like, a month. Anyway, what was I saying? Something about Metroid? Samus Returns. Samus Returns is just great. It's a great remake. So a remake of Metroid Fusion, I think they would probably do really well, especially if Mercury Steam did it. How cool would that be? And there were Metroid rumors, right? I mean, we all know about the rumors of Metroid earlier this year from, I think that was from Sabi, who got him or herself in a lot of trouble, apparently. But, Sabi and Zippo were two people who I wonder if they're the same person, but I don't know. Anyway, I don't know any of that stuff. Point is, they predicted that, there's going to be a new Paper Mario and there's going to be a new Metroid game that's related to Fusion this year. That's what they said for 2020, like in January, okay? And Paper Mario became real, and so I think that there could be something to Fusion, whether it's a remake or a sequel, like there could be something. And I was already saying as far back as last year that I think a 2D Metroid game was going to happen in 2020. And so, and there's been conversations and rumors about that. And then that thing came out from Sabi about a Metroid Fusion game. And so all signs point to a Metroid 2D game of some kind, maybe Metroid Fusion. So we shall see. We shall see. Mortal says contact lenses, or are those eyes natural? These eyes are natural. How weird do I look without glasses, right? These are my real eyes. And the irony is that I'm actually really colorblind. So I can see that, I've always been able to see that my eyes are a lighter color, but I've heard my whole life about, your eyes are so pretty. Just the prettiest eyes. And I'm like, thank you. I can't tell, So no contact lenses for me. Romulus said, I agree with everything you said about Andre's restart. He's been at it, I think, a couple years under the radar. Yeah, for sure. I didn't know he's been at it for a couple years. I should ask him how long he's been doing it. See, here's Gonxilus Aka. Oh my God. Let me try this again. Is it Gonzalez Ica with an X? Said again, Skyward Sword doesn't use a sensor bar at all. I played it last week. Okay, so that goes back to that. Yeah, so I really didn't think that you needed the sensor bar to play that game. Oh, so Khalid brings up Mario Kart 9. All my conversations about Switch this year and what games we could see before the end of the year, I constantly forget to bring up Mario Kart 9. And I honestly do think that could be a game that we see. I think that was another Jeff Grubb prediction. That it might not have been Jeff, but I think it was about, a big 2020 Nintendo game that has to do with tires. Like, who doesn't love tires? And so obviously we all said, that has to be Mario Kart. So yeah, and I think it's probably time for Mario Kart 9. Even though Mario Kart 8 is selling, like I know it is, but like they're going to make another Mario Kart at some point. So J.E. Ledoux says Switch Lite would be a part if Joy-Cons are requested for Skyward Sword. I'm not sure what that means. Can wait till Nintendo moves away from Switch to new hardware. Switch is technically at the end of the rope. Imagine PS5 already. I'm not quite sure exactly what point you're getting at there, but okay. Google lied to me about MK9 releasing on Switch 327. Yeah. There hasn't been anything about Mario Kart 9 official, especially not before March of this year. Tires Stunt Race FX remake? I mean, that would be cool, but something tells me that no, that's not what it is. Come on, Metroid Prime and Mario Collection. I agree. I really, really do agree. That Prime trilogy could really be something we see soon. It could be. Retro Cheat says tires equals F-Zero is my prediction. Yeah, but those are hovercrafts. They're hovering. They don't use tires. Jono said, I'm going to go with Mario Kart 9 and Splatoon 3 for the next Switch system. I think that's a pretty good guess, honestly, Jono. I think that's a good prediction. I honestly think I might have said this. I might have made a video about this maybe a year and a half ago, quite a while ago, about Mario Kart 9 before there was a real discussion about it like there is now. And I was like, hey, like we might see another Mario Kart soon, but I feel like it might make more sense for Nintendo to keep Mario Kart 9 as a launch title for the next Switch. Because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe essentially was a launch title for this Switch. You know, it came out a month later. So that's like launch window. It was the second big game to come out for the console. Not the second game, but the second big game, right? Was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And that was right at the launch of the console. And it sold 26 million more units than the 8 million it already did on the Wii U. People forget that those are combined numbers. So really, Mario Kart 8 has sold 4 million copies, okay? 26 of them on the Switch. And even 26 is massively monstrous, huge numbers, man. Huge. And that's pretty much covered the whole Switch's life. The game still sells like crazy even to this day. And so if they're making, not if, they are making a Mario Kart 9. And it's like, while I wouldn't be surprised if we did see that game come out this year, I also wouldn't be surprised if they save that to just launch the next console. Like, look at what they were able to do by having a good Mario Kart game at the launch of the Switch. Why not save the sequel to that game to launch the next machine? It just makes too much business sense. Maybe it'll even be cross-gen. In fact, it probably will be. But regardless, we're going to have like the definitive Switch 2 version of Mario Kart 9 at the launch. I just think if it's not this year, then I think that's their plan with Mario Kart. So that's what I have to say about that. Oh, could be Excite Bike, Ian. You know, that's a good point. We all forgot about it. And I love Excite Bike. Excite Bike 64 was so good. You know, I love the original. I grew up on the original, but 64 was like this unsung hero of the 64 console. Like, it was such a good freaking game. As was F-Zero X, by the way. Oh, Diddy Kong Racing. Yeah, I guess Diddy Kong. That's true. How come we don't have flying cars yet? That's a good question, Tom Bob. I mean, according to Back to the Future 2, we should have had flying cars by 2015, 5 years ago. None of us have them. Garbage. It's all lies. Oh, yeah, it's in development for sure. The biggest troll for the game with tires is Donkey Kong Country. Oh, because of the bouncing? Actually, that would be awesome. Wow, how funny would that be if it's like, here's the tire game, and it's a new Donkey Kong game where you jump on tires. I would be totally okay with that. In fact, I would probably prefer a new Donkey Kong to a new Mario Kart. But I would prefer a new F-Zero to a new Donkey Kong. So I'm just going to put that out there. Personally. Just for me. Kieran says, what would be your perfect Nintendo Switch 2021 lineup? Well, it would be No More Heroes 3, Bayonetta 3, Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime Trilogy, a new Mario game. I'm not going to say Metroid Prime 4 because I think that's too far off. Pikmin 4, a new F-Zero. Did I already say that? A new F-Zero, and a new IP, and a new Xenoblade. So every game. That's my perfect 2021 is every game ever from Nintendo. Another super chat, Hillian Geek 64. You are awesome. 2 British pounds. I believe Jono said this is a British pound. What are my top 5 video game soundtracks? I could probably answer that. I know a couple for sure. Would be the first Metroid Prime is my favorite because I'm a fanboy and that's just who I am. So it'd be Metroid Prime, probably Zelda Skyward Sword. And then like, it's hard for me to pick out a specific game for this franchise, but like Halo. I just think like the Halo score, the entire soundscape of all Halo is amazing. So that would be up there. What else has really, really good music? Super Metroid, of course, has amazing music. Hmm. What else? There's so much. You know, a game that has great music that people you're great. You guys are gonna hate me for saying this, but I think the first Destiny had some incredible music in it. I wouldn't call it like my top five, but that had really good music. Um, what else? Axiom Verge had some really amazing music. I love the Pikmin series music. I think that's really good. I mean, yeah, Sonic and Mega Man, Joseph brings up, amazing. I mean, honestly, Mega Man 2. I might have to go with Mega Man 2. Come on, man. Dude, Mega Man. Okay, it's Mega Man 2. Game over. It's Mega Man 2. Yeah, Wizard Ninja says Mega Man 2. Star Lord says Mega Man X. And like, I actually don't have as much, and I hate to say this, I only dabbled in the first Mega Man X. Maybe a little bit of some of the other ones, but I don't really know it the same way I know the 8-bit Mega Man games. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is up there for sure. Hillian Geek says Kingdom Hearts. I'm not really a Kingdom Hearts fan. I'm not a Persona fan, Micah. You know, Nier Automata, I started playing Nier a couple months ago, and I really liked it at first, but I actually kind of got bored with it pretty quickly, and I stopped playing it. I don't remember the music sticking out to me, though. It doesn't mean you're not right. It probably does have great music, but I just don't remember the music. Banjo Kazooie and Tooie have amazing soundtracks. I agree. I wouldn't call them top 5 to me. DuckTales, yo. The Moon. God, I don't remember the DuckTales game music at all, but I certainly remember the show theme song. Ooh, Ori. Eric, yes, you bring up Ori's soundtrack. That's up there too, but I still think I'm going to have to stick with I'm going to slightly give it to the one that I said. What the heck did I say? Mega Man 2. I mean, all the music is good, but dude, that opening theme to Mega Man 2, I will say for any of you who are young enough that you have never played Mega Man 2, which is probably most of you guys, I am telling you, look up, I'm going to post it in the chat. You got to watch, it's going to be like 40 seconds. Just the opening, like the opening to Mega Man 2. Yo, that music and that build up, and like it's the thing is going up the building. I get chills. And now I'm starting to remember games like Street Fighter and Contra. You know, when I go back to the 8 and 16-bit, it's not fair. I really need to think this one through. Let me type here. This video is 1 minute and 31 seconds. Let me see. Yeah, you can hear it's really loud. Yeah. Okay. So y'all need to pull this up and watch this like after the stream or something. Oh, if you've never seen it, that's the greatest time in gaming. Ghouls and Ghosts, also good one. Yes, I totally agree. Devil May Cry 3 through 5. I was like free through 5. Devil May Cry 3 through 5. Good games. Well, actually, I never played 4. 3 and 5 are good games. But that's another one where the music, I don't remember jumping out to me too much. I guess Devil May Cry 5 a little bit because I really remember it being like a rock kind of soundtrack. And I mean, I'm a rock and a metal guy. That's my music of choice. So I always appreciate that when oh, okay, you can't Guitar Hero. Oh, okay. Well, that's a cheat. And you know why Guitar Hero was a cheat. You know why. Anyway, yeah, so look up Mega Man 2. Wendy Melly says, I'm a millennial. Well, I'm a millennial too, but millennials can be old enough to have grown up in the 8 and 16-bit era. What's up, Green Man? Yeah, Juan says Celeste and Hollow Knight. I haven't played Celeste. I heard I think it won the award for music. Hollow Knight does have great music. I agree. Don't come for me, bro. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Oh my God. Romulus says my first super chat ever. Dude, thank you. Been watching for a couple years. Though you've considered giving up on YouTube a couple times in the past. Thanks for staying. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for donating. You didn't have to do it, but I sure do appreciate that. It will definitely help. And I haven't here's the thing. I never considered stopping YouTube, but what I did mention sometime last year was that I'm starting to get to a point where maybe I can see the end ahead of me. Maybe I can be like, okay, I feel like I might be at the point where I have no desire to stop anytime soon, but I might be able to see the time where I finally say, okay, I think I'm good. This is just something I'm going to step away from. And even if I do that, it would probably be temporary. But I've really never actively thought about stopping. So maybe you're confusing that with when I was talking last year about, there will be a time when I stop because this is not my job. It's not my full income. I don't desire for it to be. So at some point I might be less interested in doing it. And because it's not my job, I won't have to keep doing it. There's a good chance that a lot of YouTubers who are full-time now, and I'm not talking just gaming. I mean, anybody on all of YouTube who might be full-time and all of their income comes from YouTube. There's a chance that sometimes they feel like they would like to maybe they don't like doing it anymore, but it's already their job. And maybe it's too hard for them to think about leaving it and finding something else and keeping the money flow. So some people might get trapped. That could happen. For me though, that's not going to be the case. And so at some point I might just get less passionate about it. I might lose the time to do it. And so who knows? Something could just stop me from doing it. But that's not right now, so I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, I'm not that far from 50. It's true. It is true. Sorry, guys. I hate to do this. Just one quick sec. I promise. I hate to do this dead air stuff. Oh, my God. Dude, my phone, when phones start to go, especially iPhones, I've had this for 4 years. Man, they suck. Just nothing works. Oh, Lord. God. iPhones, I love and hate them. Okay, sorry. I hate to do that. But it's just I had to do something super fast. Oh man, super chat from Wendy Melly. What are my favorite metal bands? Ooh, that's a good one. Well, obviously Metallica. They're my favorite band of all time. So they're my favorite band, my favorite metal band. Also, Between the Buried and Me, which was brought up earlier. There's a band called Misery Signals that I would probably say is a top 5 for me. And then I might say, I might still stick a little bit old school and say Pantera and Megadeth. I think that might round out my top 5. I mean, there's plenty of other great bands. Periphery, Black Dahlia Murder, Meshuggah, All That Remains, As I Lay Dying, Gojira. Just, I don't know. The list goes on and on. Kill Switch Engage. So many bands. So many. Yeah, BT Bam. I'm sorry. I just getting one text. Yes to Metallica and Pantera and love Gojira. Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what. I saw one of the best concerts I ever saw was, yes, Misery Signals is so great. I'm so glad you said, oh, Lamb of God is absolutely one of my favorites. Misery Signals just came out with a new album and it is incredible. We are so lucky those guys are still making music. I saw them live a couple years ago and I actually met them. Parker says, I didn't hear you mention Sacrifice to Survive. Okay, so yes, my own band is also one of my favorites, I guess. Yeah. That's so funny. Josiah says, I'm not around about not exact Gen Z. Oh, I don't know how to figure that out. I don't know what that makes you. Do I prefer 2D Mario or 3D Mario, says Diego. I would say, that's a good question. I probably, again, I'm old, so I did grow up on 2D Mario, but I think I would still say 3D Mario. I mean, Super Mario World is so good, but Mario 64 and Mario Galaxy are just too special to me. They just are. So I think that would be my answer. Sepultura is great. I've seen Sepultura live. I was a big fan of Soulfly too, which featured Max Cavalera from Sepultura. I actually, honestly, their first 2 albums were better than most Sepultura albums. I know that's going to be a hot take for metal fans. Early 2000s, good time. How would a 2.5D Mario look like? That is not like Super Mario Maker 2's 3D World. I mean, well, 2.5D Mario to me would be something like Mario 3D Land and 3D World, Any thoughts on the announced DC games? Yeah, so I think Gotham Knights looks awesome. Somebody asked me that in the beginning of the chat. Loved Gotham Knights. I'm excited for the Suicide Squad game in concept. And like the trailer thing they showed was neat and it was like funny and it was cool, but it was just a CG trailer and the game is 2 years off. So I need to know that game before I say I'm excited about it. But Gotham Knights looks awesome. Awesome. I think it looks better than the Avengers game, Great taste in music. Thank you. I think I do have great taste in music. Can you imagine having a 24-hour Nintendo Direct and being blasted with so many Nintendo games? I tell you what, DC did such an incredible job yesterday. They have borderline saved their entire film IP. They did such a good job yesterday. And so, yeah, what if Nintendo did something similar, right? Where they had like a 24-hour news blast. That would be great, but that's not like Nintendo. Like, I love Nintendo just like we all do, but they're not that forward thinking. And I don't think they would be that upfront with information. They're too secretive, unfortunately. Reese's Pieces says, some of my personal favorite video game OSTs are Metroid Prime 2, Super Mario Galaxy. That's another good one is Galaxy. Doom Eternal, Super Castlevania 4, good choice. Beyond Good and Evil, oh, I love it. F-Zero GX, Pac-Man World 2, and yeah, DC fandom was very good. My man, would you sacrifice a Prime trilogy and a Fusion remake for a Prime 1 remake with extra content? I would. I think Prime 1, top 5 best games ever made in mankind history. I agree with you there. It's my favorite game. And you know what? I actually think I would sacrifice that because if I picture a Metroid Prime remake to the degree or Shadow of the Colossus, I don't know if there's any other, or like, Resident Evil 2 and 3. So yeah, if I picture a Metroid Prime 1 remake like that, I would absolutely take that over just an HD port of the Prime trilogy and Fusion. Like I would actually prefer that. And yes, I agree. The Snyder Cut trailer was amazing. I think I did maybe prefer it to Batman. I don't know if I would say it blew it out of the water the way you did. I don't know if there's that big of a gap for me. They're a little bit closer in my brain, but I might be with you and slightly give the edge to Snyder Cut trailer. It was really good. Man, it was really good. What? Oh, that question is not for me. I'm surprised no one said Undertale for music. I've heard Undertale has good music. That game, I haven't played the game and it doesn't appeal to me, so I don't know anything about it. Hipster Fish says, do I think this rumor of the Direct is real? And yes, I do. I do believe in the Nintendo Direct, you guys. Plenty of people who are reputable, many of whom I know, have talked about it, believe in it. There's plenty of reason to think that it's going to happen. It was getting predicted for the 28th, right? So that's this coming Friday, which has been a weird thing. There's been a little bit more information where now it seems like that date might not be accurate, just for what it's worth. I don't know if you guys heard that, but there's a chance it's not the 28th. But if it is the 28th, I have some thoughts on it being the 28th. Because obviously the first thing we think of is like, well, Nintendo doesn't do them on Fridays. They don't do anything on Friday. It's always like Wednesday or Thursday, which is true. But I will remind you that the partner presentation on July 20th, bad as it was, happened on Monday. And it was like at 8 o'clock at night, the Sunday prior, just right before the thing went live, they talked about it. And it happened on a Monday. Right? Am I remembering that right? Let me double check. Pretty sure it was a Monday. It sure was. So maybe that means Nintendo is changing what they want to do. So that means that either, if Friday is the real date, that means that either they're willing to now do Nintendo Directs on different days, like Mondays and Fridays, or there's a chance that it's not going to be a Nintendo Direct. If it's on Friday, it might be something different. Maybe they call it Nintendo Direct First Party Blowout Party Time, you know? Or maybe they call it just something totally different. You know, Nintendo Games Showcase Bonanza, you know, whatever. So it just all depends on if it's even real. Now everyone is talking about Batman in the chat. No more heroes, though? Yeah, we talked about that, Amadeus. I think that there's a chance it shows up, but I think it also might be a 2021 game. Nintendo is the king of left field, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is Friday. Yeah, I agree. Metroid, Halo, Doom, which do you prefer? Well, if you're talking to me, it's obviously Metroid, but I like them all. Do I like prog rock and metal? Of course I do. Oh, yes. That is my preferred genre. That is my band, is a prog metal band. I play prog metal drums. Not super advanced. I'm not Meshuggah or Between the Buried and Me level or Periphery, but, you know, we're in that direction. We're in that vein. I'm not as good as those guys, man. I am not a Matt Halpern, Blake Richardson style. I'm not that good. But I hold my own, I think, you know. Arkham Collection on Switch, that would be cool. Rush, Porcupine Tree, Genesis. I like Porcupine Tree. Rush is amazing. Oh, Jay, what's up, buddy? Says, as it stands now, I'm jealous of your Metroid banner behind you. Yeah, this Prime trilogy here, I got both of these from GameStop. Well after I was working for GameStop, but I still just had friends at GameStop for a long time. So they gave me all the Metroid stuff. I have a Metroid Other M standee in my garage. Yes, go watch Clone Wars. Do I like Skillet? Whoa, I haven't heard of Skillet in a long time. Skillet. Oh gosh. Not really my preferred style. They had a couple of radio hits. They're a very radio friendly band, you know, like a rock band. I think they're a Christian band too, which is fine. It's not my style, but I don't know. They're okay from what I remember. What was their big hit? I'm going to look that up. Is it Monster? I bet it's the song Monster. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're okay. Not my style. Yeah, Skillet is Christian. I thought so. They have a couple. It's okay. I've been playing the new Call of Duty. I work at Activision. Do you really, Amadeus? Do you really? How can we believe you? I'm definitely excited for the new Call of Duty. I'm just glad that they finally said something about it. I think that, what was it, the 26th? Which is what, Tuesday? That they're going to reveal the game? I think the new Call of Duty is supposed to be revealed on, officially revealed on Tuesday. I'm very excited. I hope that there's just a campaign and deathmatch. I'm not a Battle Royale fan. I don't think Warzone is cool at all. Everyone loves Warzone, and I'm just like, no. But I mean, I don't have a problem with it existing. I just don't want it to exist in place of the other stuff. So I do have to just say that. Philip Selway from Radiohead never played. Whoa, those questions got away from me. Philip Selway from Radiohead has an amazing feel to his playing, even though he's not a super skilled drummer. Yeah, that's, you know, a drummer serves a lot of different roles. You don't have to be the most skilled if you can do your job properly when it comes to being a drummer. Jeremy D says, I never finished Metroid Prime. Never finished Metroid Prime. I've clearly been talking for far too long because my mouth does not work anymore. Never played 2 or 3. Would you recommend the OG games or buy the collection on Wii U or wait for the potential HD Switch version? Well, I would say, based on what I've heard, I would wait for the year to finish. Okay. If the year finishes and we don't have any indication or release of the Prime trilogy, then I would just buy that. I would just buy that collection on the Wii U if you've got it. That's probably your best bet. Diego says, "Have I ever experienced hardware issues on my consoles like Joy-Con drift or anything like that, or joystick?" Actually, yeah, both my Xbox One controllers have drift on the left analog stick, and I hate it. I hate it so much. Is there a place you can watch me play drums or my band? Not currently, but there will be. There's old stuff of my old bands, but nothing with my current band. Oh, I got another super chat from Raiders fan. Oh, Raiders fan. That's okay. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. Says favorite area in Metroid Prime in terms of music, visuals, level design, etc. Any Metroid game you feel up to it, and check out Volbeat, older stuff. I've heard some Volbeat, and Volbeat's okay. I did not my main style, but I liked some of what I've heard. But I'll check out the old stuff. Metroid Prime. I mean, my favorite area is probably most people's, and it's the Fendrana Drifts. I love the way it looks. I love the snow. And that music is amazing too. But I also really, really like the Chozo Ruins. So it's kind of like and then the Talon 4 Overworld, though. Oh. I might go with Talon 4 Overworld. That actually might be my answer, even over Fendrana Drifts. Tough to say. But I like all three of those in the original Metroid Prime. It's definitely those. Yeah, Prime Trilogy is only $20 on the Wii U, and it is a steal. I agree. I know it's hard, right? Yeah, it is hard. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Raiders and the Broncos play out. This NFL season is going to be a weird one. I'm very excited. We finally have what seems like we might finally have a quarterback in the post-Peyton era. Fingers crossed. And Raiders, I don't know. Do you guys still have Derek Carr? What happened with Derek Carr? I totally wasn't even paying attention to the Raiders. So I think Derek Carr is better than people give him credit for, but I hope he doesn't perform well. I don't want the Raiders to do well. As a Broncos fan, of course. If it even happens, Broncos have the tools. I think we do. Yes, I've been watching Hockey Stakona. I've been following the Avs. They're my team. We've been doing really well, but we lost yesterday, and that sucks. Or today, sorry. Or wait, no, that was yesterday. I'm sorry. I can't even keep the days in my head. Was that yesterday or today? I don't know. Oh, sweet. You guys are tagging me in the chat. That's really cool on Twitter. Thank you for that. That's very cool. Very, very cool. Yes, he is good. At least we can hate the Chiefs together. Oh, that is for sure. Yeah, Derek Carr is good. I agree. Yeah, I hate the Chiefs. Hate the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is so good that I hate him for that. Oh, I wish we had Peyton back. I mean, he's been out of the game for a couple years now, but I wish we had Peyton in his prime back, because I think he would eat Patrick Mahomes alive, even though Patrick Mahomes is amazing. He really is amazing. I won't take that away from him. And he deserved MVP. He really did. He was amazing. 2D Metroid or Metroid Prime? Well, Diego, what's funny about that is Metroid Prime is my favorite game, but I actually prefer 2D Metroid to first-person Metroid, which I know seems confusing, but that's just how I feel. Can't explain it any more than that. I think Locke has the tool set to be great. I think so too, Raiders fan. I really do. But we've struggled since Peyton, man, so I don't know. This year will be very telling. Yes, Sanctuary Fortress is really great in Metroid Prime 2. That's a Metroid Prime 2. And I love Sanctuary Fortress. It doesn't get talked about a lot because I think most people haven't played Echoes all the way through, and because Sanctuary Fortress is a hard area. It's a very difficult area. It's like at the end of the game. I think Man, we have a lot of viewers. I hate to cut it off, but we're at an hour 40, and I want to eat some lunch. Not going to lie, you guys, I'm just a bit hungry. But for the time being, these Sunday live streams are probably going to be a regular thing until I find out if I can truly get my podcast off the ground, in which case I'm going to be having, rotating guests, other YouTubers and stuff, big and small. So I plan on having a lot of the bigger guys and girls, and I'm going to also have some of the smaller creators to shine a light on them and just do a weekly podcast, probably on Sundays, but maybe on Mondays. But for now, I'm going to keep doing these on Sundays. I really like doing this. It's a lot of fun. I get really good viewership. I really appreciate so many people coming out. Several donations. That's amazing. Thank you guys. Got to talk a little Broncos, little NFL, little Star Wars, Nintendo Direct. And that's the thing too. Here's what's cool. By next Sunday, we're going to know if the Nintendo Direct actually happened. And we're going to get to talk about all that stuff if it does. Obviously, I'll make a video about it as well. But we'll also get to talk about that. So it's very, very exciting. So with that, I see people saying bye and thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Jono. Thanks, Ryan. Really, really good live stream. I appreciate everyone showing up and donating. Thank you so much. And I don't know. I'll see you on videos this week and another live stream next weekend. So bye-bye.